in the heart of a sleepy suburban business park in Arizona. 38-year-old real estate developer Tyler Jamison walked into the office he'd bought outright 6 months ago. He had his morning coffee in one hand, and blueprints for his next project in the other. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, until he saw her dot at the front desk. His front desk's a woman in a crisp, neon pink blazer, clipboard in hand, eyebrows already raised like she was preparing for battle. She looked like she'd just been pulled from an HOA Pinterest board. Name was Cheryl Hopkins, the self-declared president of the Briar Ridge Commercial, HOA. According to her, Tyler had unauthorized interior decorations and had violated Section 4C of the Community Appearance Agreement. Tyler coolly, I own this unit. Freehold, I'm not part of any HOA. Cheryl snapping, ownership doesn't mean exemption from the rules, sir. Your frosted door decal is non-conforming. Tyler chuckled, thinking it was a prank, but Cheryl wasn't laughing. Instead, she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. Dispatcher voice filtered. 911, what's your emergency? Cheryl, yes, I need police assistance immediately. There's a man trespassing in Suite B. That's when Tyler knew this was going to get interesting. Within 7 minutes, 2 uniformed officers pulled into the lot. Officer number 1, approaching Tyler. Sir, we got a report of a disturbance here. Can we see your ID? Tyler handing it over calmly. You might also want to see this. He handed them a copy of the property deed. His name was right there. Owner, undisputed. Officer number 2, reading the paper, then eyeing Cheryl. Ma'am, it says here he owns the entire building. Cheryl's face went from pink to pale in 2 seconds flat. Cheryl faltering. Well, the HOA has jurisdiction over appearance standards. He painted the window trim teal. It's obnoxious. Tyler's expression barely changed. But inside, he was already planning his next move. He knew what kind of power these HOA types craved, then what would absolutely destroy them. But he wouldn't yell, he wouldn't threaten. He'd do something far more devastating. He'd turn the whole HOA upside down. Ever been harassed by someone pretending to have power over you? You'll want to hear how Tyler flips the script on Cheryl. Stick around for part 2. And if you've ever clashed with a nosy HOA, drop your story in the comments below. After Cheryl's 911 stunt backfired spectacularly, most people would have walked away satisfied. But Tyler Jamison wasn't most people. He didn't like to be publicly embarrassed, especially not by someone waving a clipboard and quoting bylaws like scripture. The police had left. The HOA queen had stormed off, huffing, into her Prius, and the office was quiet again. But Tyler was already making calls. Tyler on the phone. Yeah, Jason, I need you to pull the title records on every unit in this plaza. I want to know who owns what. And if anything's up for sale, I'm buying it. You see, Tyler wasn't just some tenant. He'd made his money flipping entire complexes, and Briar Ridge was looking more and more like his next project. The next day, Tyler parked his black Denali behind the building, just out of Cheryl's view, and began quietly interviewing the other tenants. Unit A, a struggling chiropractor named Dr. Lynn tired of HOA sign size restrictions. Unit C, a vintage toy store owned by Gary, who'd gotten fined for a window sticker that violated historic aesthetic standards. Unit D, vacant for 6 months. HOA red tape had killed 2 leasing deals. Tyler, smiling, friendly. Ever thought about selling? Full cash offer, quick close, no commissions. By Friday, Tyler owned 3 out of 6 units in the plaza. And that's when he noticed something strange in the public records. The HOA wasn't officially registered with the county. Its authority came from a loosely defined community covenant document that hadn't been updated in 14 years. And technically only applied to common landscaping areas. Cheryl's reign was built on nothing. Tyler decided it was time to turn up the heat, held a casual barbecue in the parking lot. Ribs, music, a margarita machine. Half the plaza showed up. Cheryl did too, in full clipboard combat mode. Cheryl fuming. You can't have amplified music on a weekday. That's a clear violation of our volume policy. Tyler grinning. I'm not in violation of anything. Cheryl. In fact, he pulled a packet from his briefcase. I've just filed a motion with the county to form a new business owners cooperative. I've got signatures from a majority of title holders. That packet, it meant the Briar Ridge HOA. Cheryl's little kingdom was about to be disbanded. Legally. Cheryl eyes wide. You can't just dismantle an HOA. Tyler calmly. Legally. I can. It was never legit in the first place. But Cheryl, wasn't going down without a fight. Over the next few days, she began a campaign of pure chaos. She reported fake code violations, left aggressive flyers on every door, even got her cousin, a city zoning inspector, to randomly show up at Tyler's property. It was petty, it was desperate, and it was exactly what Tyler needed. Because the more noise Cheryl made, the more tenants began switching sides. Gary exasperated. "I'm done. I'm sick of her knocking on my window about Christmas lights in July. Dr. Lynn, she told one of my patients they couldn't park facing west. That's deranged." Tyler now controlled 4 out of 6 units, and was closing on a 5th. And Cheryl? She was starting to look less like a leader and more like a liability. Would you believe Cheryl's about to break into Tyler's office next? You don't want to miss part 3, trust me. And if you've ever dealt with someone who abused fake authority, hit that like button and tell us your story in the comments below. Tyler Jamison had the momentum. 4 out of 6 units were now under his control. The HOA was crumbling, Cheryl's grip on power was slipping, and the rest of the plaza's tenants were lining up behind him. But Cheryl, she wasn't going to let her little empire fall without throwing one last grenade. It was a quiet Tuesday. Tyler had left his office for a zoning board meeting across town. He'd be gone for exactly 3 hours. What he didn't know was that Cheryl had been watching. At 11:17 a.m. Security footage would later show her pulling into the parking lot in her green sedan. Clipboard in the passenger seat. Gloves already on. She walked straight up to Tyler's office door, jiggled the handle locked, but then, from her oversized purse, she pulled out a key. A master key. A copy. No one knows. What matters is this. Cheryl walked into Tyler's office like she owned the place. Inside Tyler's office, she rifled through drawers, snapped photos of blueprints, took a thumb drive from his desk, and then she made a mistake. A big one. She opened Tyler's laptop. The screen flashed facial recognition activated. Unauthorized access. Camera recording began. Cheryl paused, but she didn't stop. She clicked, scrolled, even printed out a file labeled Business Coup, Legal Filing. She walked out 20 minutes later. What she didn't know, Tyler had installed silent alerts. His phone buzzed, mid-meeting, motion detected, main office, laptop accessed by unverified user. Tyler's expression didn't change. Not outwardly, but he quietly slipped out of the zoning meeting and headed straight back to Briar Ridge. He didn't go in loud. He didn't call the cops. He just opened his security app and started watching the footage, frame by frame. Later that night, as Cheryl posted on the neighborhood app, claiming Tyler was conducting unapproved development, Tyler uploaded one perfect screenshot of her in his office leaning over his laptop into the same thread. Tyler's comment, "Hey Cheryl, smile for the camera next time." The thread exploded. Gary from Unit C. "Wait, did she seriously break into your office? Dr. Lynn, that's felony level crazy. I'm changing my locks tonight." Cheryl didn't reply. But 2 days later, she retaliated in the pettiest way possible. She brought in a mobile billboard. Truck, yes. A literal truck that circled the plaza with a banner that read, "Warning, this office building is under investigation," complete with a fake-looking seal she printed off Google Images. Tenants stared in disbelief. Customers started asking questions, and Tyler, he just recorded the whole thing. Tyler on the phone. "Hi officer. Yeah, I have evidence of an illegal break-in and impersonation of a public agency." He handed over the video. The printed documents Cheryl took, even the footage of her car circling the lot. And that's when the real heat started. Because when the police showed up this time, they weren't asking Tyler for ID, they were at Cheryl's door. She answered wearing a Briar Ridge Authority jacket she'd had custom made online. "Officer ma'am, we have some questions about recent activity at 1226 Commerce BLVD. Cheryl blinked. And for once, she didn't have anything to say. "You think that was bad?" Cheryl hasn't even hit rock bottom yet. Part 4 takes this HOA war to the courtroom, and trust me, it gets wild. Like, comment, and share if you've ever dealt with a clipboard tyrant like Cheryl. After Cheryl's illegal break-in and billboard stunt, Tyler had enough. This wasn't just petty HOA harassment anymore, this was criminal. And now, law enforcement was finally catching on. Within a week, Cheryl Hopkins was served with a temporary restraining order preventing her from stepping within 100 feet of Tyler's office, or any unit he owned. She tried to laugh it off online, calling Tyler a developer bully, but inside her home, things were unraveling. Because Cheryl wasn't just HOA president, she was also a licensed real estate agent. And Tyler had filed a formal ethics complaint with the state licensing board. But before anything could stick, the restraining order led to something even juicier. Court. The day of the hearing, Tyler showed up in a blue suit and a calm demeanor. Cheryl, she arrived 10 minutes late, wearing her Briar Ridge compliance officer sash over a pantsuit like she was entering a pageant. Judge dryly. Ma'am, this is a courtroom, not a parade. The judge reviewed the footage. The trespassing, the document theft, the fake mobile billboard with a fabricated government seal. Judge, stone-faced. You created and disseminated materials that appeared to be official notices from the zoning commission. Cheryl nervously. It was artistic interpretation, satire. The judge wasn't amused. Tyler didn't need to say much. He let the evidence speak. But what stunned the courtroom most was what came next. Tyler presenting a packet. Your Honor, I'd like to enter this into the record. It's a petition, signed by 5 of the 6 property owners in Briar Ridge, formally dissolving the HOA, per Article 7, subsection B of the founding charter. We have that right. The judge skimmed the papers, then looked up at Cheryl. Judge, do you understand what this means? Cheryl, voice cracking. They can't. You can't just erase me. Judge, you were never legally elected, never registered the HOA with the county, and acted outside the authority granted by the outdated agreement. You're not being erased, ma'am. You were never official to begin with. The gavel hit the desk like a shotgun blast. Bang. HOA, dissolved. Restraining order, extended. Criminal charges for unlawful entry, pending. Cheryl staggered out of court, like she'd just watched her house burn down. Tyler, meanwhile, didn't say a word to reporters outside, but he smiled for every camera. He wasn't done yet because Tyler had one more trick. While Cheryl was melting down in public, Tyler quietly closed on the last unit in the plaza. Unit F, the final piece of the puzzle. He now owned 100% of the Briar Ridge business complex, and he had big plans. He ordered a brand new sign for the front of the plaza, the Jameson Executive Center EST. This morning, it went up with a boom truck. The next day, Cheryl, who had driven by for old time's sake, saw it and burst into tears in the front seat of her car. But even that wasn't the final twist, because Tyler had filed a new LLC under her name. Not her actual name, but one dangerously close to it. Briar Ridge Property Solutions, LLC manager. Not Cheryl Hopkins. Legally sound. Morally, a little spicy. He wasn't trying to confuse anyone. He just wanted her to Google herself and see that someone else was now handling Briar Ridge. Someone, competent. You thought that was savage? Wait until Cheryl tries to fight back with a fake news segment in part 5. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the meltdown, and comment below if you've ever watched a paper tyrant crash and burn. 2 weeks after the courtroom smackdown, and the full rebranding of the complex to the Jameson Executive Center, Cheryl Hopkins was not doing well. Her social media had gone dark. Her HOA Queen Facebook group lost half its members, and her real estate license under full review. But then she resurfaced. It started with a bizarre video posted on a small-town news-style YouTube channel called Community Values Arizona. The headline: Local business owner allegedly evicts beloved HOA leader. Is gentrification the real villain? The video had exactly 317 views. But that didn't stop Cheryl from running a local Facebook ad campaign promoting it. In the video, Cheryl wore sunglasses indoors, sat in front of a blurry HOA sign, and spoke in vague phrases like, Cheryl, voice quivering, "They removed me. Not legally, but spiritually." She accused Tyler of hostile redevelopment, erasing community values, and bizarrely installing anti-patriotic signage. For the record, the only signage Tyler had installed was a tenant directory and a no loitering notice. Tyler saw the video late one night while scrolling Reddit, where someone had linked it under the title, HOA Karen tries to CNN her way out of a court order. He didn't comment. He didn't respond. Instead, he made one phone call to Katie Fernandez, a local journalist who had once covered his urban renewal projects downtown. Tyler, on the phone, want an exclusive. By Friday, a new headline hit every local feed. Developer buys entire plaza after HOA harassment, catches ex-president on camera in office break-in. Katie's article was sharp, fact-checked, and included actual court documents, and damaging it featured screenshots from Cheryl's bizarre video, with the caption, Disgraced HOA leader defends herself from inside what appears to be a storage closet. The closet in question. Cheryl's garage, decorated with a flag, a fan, and an old coffee maker. From there, Cheryl's credibility collapsed like a cheap lawn chair in July. She tried one more stunt. She printed fake code violation stickers and slapped them on the plaza's windows at 4 a.m. But this time, she was caught on security camera again. This footage went viral. Tyler didn't post it himself. Gary, the toy store owner, did. Captioned, "Caught the HOA zombie tagging our glass like it's the purge." Within hours, the video had over 60,000 views on TikTok, and that's when it really hit. Cheryl. No one was afraid of her anymore. The tenants ignored her. The city dismissed her complaints, and when she called her cousin at zoning, he ghosted her. Tyler had one. Not with noise, not with anger, but with cold, calculated ownership. That same weekend, Tyler threw a grand reopening event for the Jameson Executive Center. Food trucks, a jazz band, bounce houses for kids. The works. He unveiled a new sign under the plaza's name. Locally owned. Community first, HOA free. Since 2024. Even the mayor showed up for a photo op, and standing in the crowd at distance was Cheryl. Alone, silent. Watching it all. She'd spent years telling people what they could plant, where they could park, how to decorate their windows. Now no one even noticed she was there. Think this saga is over? Not even close. In part 6, Cheryl makes one last desperate move, and it lands her somewhere with bars on the windows. Like, share, and subscribe if you love seeing justice served cold. And let us know, what's the pettiest thing you've seen an HOA do? After Cheryl's viral meltdown and Tyler's flawless grand reopening, the story should have ended. The war was over. The flags were down, and she'd lost everything: her reputation, her title, and whatever little influence she once had. But Cheryl wasn't the kind of person to walk away quietly. She was the kind of person who doubles down, even when she's holding a losing hand. 3 days after the opening, Cheryl returned to the plaza parking lot in the dead of night. Only this time, she didn't come with fake stickers or printed threats. This time, she came with a crowbar. At 3:42 a.m., she was caught on camera again wearing all black, sunglasses on, hoodie drawn. She approached the glass storefront of Gary's toy shop, the same one she'd fined a year ago for excessive window decals. With a grunt, she swung once, cracked. The lower pane shattered. She stepped inside. Inside, she didn't steal. She didn't vandalize toys. Instead, she walked straight to the cash register, pulled out the cord, and began unbolting it from the counter. She wasn't trying to rob the place. She was trying to plant it somewhere else. Narrator quietly to make Tyler look like he staged a break-in. But she didn't get far. The moment she stepped outside with the register under her arm, flashlights. Security guard, off camera, drop it. Hands up. Cheryl froze. This time, there were no explanations, no loopholes, no yelling about bylaws, just handcuffs, police body cam, audio. You have the right to remain silent. Gary showed up 20 minutes later in pajamas and cowboy boots. Gary rubbing his eyes. Did she seriously break in just to mess with my receipt? Printer? The news hit the local feeds before dawn. Former HOA president arrested in attempted staged burglary. No comment from suspect. Tyler didn't celebrate. He didn't need to. The law was doing what it should have done months ago. Cheryl was held overnight, denied bail, and charged with breaking and entering, attempted fraud, and falsifying a police report. The judge wasn't amused this time either. Judge, sternly, Ms. Hopkins, your pattern of behavior has escalated to something dangerous. You will remain in custody pending trial. Cheryl's face, normally plastered with a smug smile or shrieking rage, was blank. For the first time in this entire saga, she was quiet. Tyler visited Gary's shop that morning with a repair team and paid to have the glass replaced by noon. Then, without a word, he walked next door, pulled out a ladder, and removed the last remaining HOA rule compliance sign Cheryl had bolted to the back wall 2 years prior. He tossed it into the dumpster without ceremony. It landed with a hollow clang. The tenants clapped. It wasn't a victory, was relief. For years, Cheryl had ruled by fear, by fine, by threats and technicalities. Now, she was a cautionary tale in an orange jumpsuit. Later that week, Gary printed a new sticker for his shop window, now serving freedom from It was a hit. Even the mayor stopped by to take a selfie with it. But Tyler wasn't finished. Because he wasn't just cleaning up. One crazy woman's messy was planning something bigger. He'd already acquired the entire building. But now, was about to transform the whole block. What does Tyler have planned next? And what happens when Cheryl's trial goes public? You won't believe who shows up in court in Part 7. Smash that like button if you love seeing tyrants fall hardened. Don't forget to subscribe for the twist coming next. 2 months after her midnight break-in and very public arrest, Cheryl Hopkins shuffled into Maricopa County Courthouse in an orange jumpsuit, her once perfect bob flattened against her forehead. No clipboard, no power blazer. No posse. Just the cold silence of a courtroom. And Tyler Jamison, sitting in the front row with a legal pad and a coffee. It wasn't about gloating. Not anymore. Tyler wanted closure. And Cheryl, she was still trying to wriggle her way out of accountability. Her lawyer, a nervous, overworked public defender, opened the trial by painting Cheryl as misunderstood, community-minded, and emotionally overwhelmed. But then came the evidence. Footage of her entering Tyler's office, stills from the fake mobile billboard, the shattered glass, the cash register, and then, the cherry on top, Gary on the stand. She told me once, if I didn't take down my Spider-Man cutout, she'd fine me until I begged for mercy. That's not neighborhood care. That's crazy. The jury looked unimpressed. The judge even less so. But it was Tyler's testimony that turned the entire room silent. Tyler on the stand, composed. She didn't just harass me. She weaponized a fake authority, tried to ruin my reputation, then broke the law to get revenge when it didn't work. When Cheryl stood up to defend herself, her voice cracked with desperation. Cheryl, I was trying to protect the integrity of the complex. Before him, this place was a community. We had rules. We had standards. The prosecutor raised a single eyebrow. Prosecutor, ma'am, did those standards include breaking and entering? Cheryl said nothing. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Because during cross-examination, the prosecutor revealed something unusual, a sealed complaint from years ago, filed by a former HOA board member, alleging Cheryl misused HOA funds to pay for a weekend spa retreat, 3 custom President Hopkins bands, and a private investigator to spy on her next-door neighbor's landscaping schedule. The courtroom gasped, Cheryl stammered. Then screamed Cheryl. That was years ago. It's not relevant. I was trying to protect property values. Judge calmly. You were surveilling someone over a birdbath, Ms. Hopkins. That sealed complaint. Now unsealed, by the time Cheryl's trial wrapped. The charges weren't just petty, they were stacked. Criminal trespass, attempted fraud, vandalism, obstruction, unauthorized surveillance. The jury didn't take long. Guilty, on 4 counts. Judge, you are hereby sentenced to 6 months in county jail, followed by 12 months probation, and ordered to pay full restitution to the business owners affected. She fainted right there in the courtroom aisle. They had to carry her out. Outside, reporters asked Tyler for comment. He gave none. But later that week, a blog post appeared on his company's site titled, How to Turn a Nightmare HOA into the Best Thing That Ever Happened to Your Business. It went viral in the entrepreneur community. Even got quoted in a TED Talk. But Tyler still wasn't done, because now that Cheryl was out of the picture permanently, he had plans for the entire block. The finale is here. In Part 8, Tyler turns his petty revenge into a legacy project you won't believe, and Cheryl, she gets one final surprise she never saw coming. Hit subscribe and get ready for the ultimate twist. With Cheryl Hopkins convicted and serving time in county jail, the Briar Ridge business complex, now proudly rebranded as the Jamison Executive Center, finally had peace. No fines, no flyers, no passive-aggressive notices on doors, just businesses thriving, and a developer with a plan far bigger than anyone imagined. Tyler Jamison didn't just want to buy buildings, he wanted to build freedom. Over the next 3 months, Tyler bought the adjacent strip mall, a rundown gas station, and the empty parcel Cheryl once petitioned to have turned into a quiet green zone just to block out foot traffic. That lot, Tyler turned it into a pop-up market space. Live music, farmers, food trucks, the neighborhood. Boomed Gary, toy store owner. It's like someone lifted a curse off the place. Cheryl was like, HOA Baltimore. Dr. Lynn smiling. I actually look forward to coming to work now. Never thought I'd say that. Tyler installed free Wi-Fi, built shaded outdoor seating, launched a shared co-ad program that promoted every tenant online, and then came his final move. He launched a mentorship program called Owner Up, designed to help small business owners buy their commercial spaces outright, just like he had. First client, Gary. Tyler helped Gary finance and buy the toy shop unit at a discount. Gary cried. Then installed a sign that said, "Now employee-owned and HOA proof." But just when it seemed the past was behind them, it came crawling back in orange scrubs and bad decisions. 6 months into her sentence, Cheryl was granted early release for good behavior, except her definition of good apparently meant posting a 2,000-word Facebook rant titled, "I was railroaded by greedy men and unruly tenants. The truth about Briar Ridge." She tagged every local news station, even linked her old GoFundMe, help Cheryl rebuild her HOA legacy. It raised $42.19, mostly in sarcastic $1 donations, with messages like, "Buy yourself a sticker and leave us alone." But Cheryl wasn't quite finished embarrassing herself. She filed a civil complaint alleging emotional damages against Tyler, Gary, and the city of Mesa. The court rejected it within 24 hours. Judge in writing. Not only does the plaintiff lack standing, but the record reflects that the consequences she experienced were self-inflicted. Cheryl vanished from public view after that. Some say she moved in with her sister in Yuma. Others say she tried to start an HOA in a mobile home park and got laughed out within a week. As for Tyler, he hosted a 1-year anniversary block party at the center barbecue jazz trio. Mayor in attendance, and in a final touch of ironic brilliance, Tyler auctioned off the original Briar Ridge HOA compliance office sign. The proceeds donated to a local nonprofit that defends homeowners from predatory HOAs. He called it poetic justice. The crowd called it perfect. What started with a fake fine and a 911 call became a story of ownership, resilience, and poetic revenge. Tyler didn't just win the fight. He rewrote the rules. That's the story of how one man took on an HOA tyrant and turned her kingdom into a legacy of freedom. If you made it to the end, hit that like button, drop a comment about your worst HOA moment, and subscribe for more wild true stories, because next time, it might just be yours.